Hi, I'm Jim Bodel with Acuity Process Solutions based in North Attleboro, Massachusetts. We're a nationally recognized master distributor for Alfa Laval's digital capacitive load cell system. This is going to be the second in a series of presentations that are designed to help our clients understand the operation of the Alfa Laval system. Last time we talked about the main screen and the physical setup of the system. This time we're going to dig into it a little deeper and talk about the setup and the configuration. And next time we'll get into coarse tearing and calibration. So I've actually got the system set up next to my desk again. So if you don't mind, I'd like to take you over to it so we can take a look. And I'm going to tip the camera forward so it's a little easier to see. And I'm going to zoom it in just a bit, so bear with me. And hopefully be able to see the keys pretty well. And now I'm going to have to move this up a little bit for you. Okay. So last time we worked on the system, we were starting on the main screen, which is what we're looking at right here. And this is the screen that operators use most of the time. From this screen, you can zero out a tank prior to filling, and then you can monitor the weight as you fill the tank. You can also tear it out if you want to add incrementally measured units as you're filling. So all of that functionality is available from the main screen. You can also do a little bit of diagnostic from this screen, but you can't change any of the settings or configurations in it. And I'll explain that to you. So if you take a look, again, if you remember from the last presentation, all of the keys on the bottom of the screen are soft keys, and they change function based on the screen that you're in. The key that you're going to use the most is this menu key on the left-hand side, and that's where we'll start. So one of the things that's really cool about this system is that an operator, without getting into the configuration protocols, can see some diagnostics about it. And let me show you there. By the way, this totals screen is something, if you recall during the first presentation, we were talking about dosing tanks. That's part of the dosing function, but we're not going to get into that today. So for today, I want to talk to you about system information, because this is something that your operators can get to. If you move down, and by the way, when you pop open that menu, these arrow keys will move you up and down that list. So if you move down to the system menu, this return key will select it for you. And when you select it, the first thing it's going to tell you is what version software you have. There are a couple of versions that have been released in the last few years, and if we're troubleshooting something on the telephone with you, we will probably ask you to enter the screen and tell us what revision you're looking at. In addition, there are some updates that are available with some added functionality. It's not too difficult to do the upgrades if it's something you choose to pursue. But so this is going to show you an event counter, which is how many times the system's been turned on and off. This is a demo unit, so it gets turned on and off quite a bit. Right here on the menu button on the left-hand side, let's hit that again. And I told you that menu button is going to carry through, so we hit it again. And it gives you some options here. It's going to ask you about the system. If we enter that, it just tells you what time it is, and you can set system time if you'd like to do it. It'll tell you what the date is, and you can set that if you'd like it. It tells you it's a basic system. Let's go back. If we go back to that menu, if we hit menu again, it gives us a couple other options. The next one is the neat one, which is the load cell option. If we go down here to load cells and hit return, this allows me to see all of the load cells that are hooked up to the system, and this is really unique about this digital system. Most other systems, I don't believe any of them can do this. So this is very helpful because it gives you diagnostics. Because these load cells have the intelligence inside of them and all of the weighing is done in the load cell, this system is allowing you to look all the way down to load cell and see what's going on. All right. So what I'm going to show you is when you first do this, you're going to get what's called the direct number. And by the way, you're going to see load cells 0 through 7, which means 8 load cells. That's how many could be hooked up to the system if you'd like. But in this case, 0, 1, 2, there are 3 load cells here, so 0, 1, and 2 are hooked up. And you see a number there that's moving around, and that number doesn't really mean anything. It's a meaningless number to you and I, but it's a digital readout that the cell is sending to the system. Okay, and you can see if I push on one particular load cell, in this case I'm pushing on load cell 0, look at the numbers changing. okay? It's because I'm pushing on it that that number is changing. If I hit menu again, it will give me, I can pick either direct, weight, or zeroed. Direct is that meaningless number. Weight is what the load cell is reading in weight before it was zeroed. So in other words, when I zero the system out, it has zero effect on what these numbers read. In other words, so if I had this thing sitting under a tank and I had already zeroed everything out, when I went to direct weight, these would be reading the weight of the tank, not the zeroed number. Okay, but again, as I push on load cell 0, you can see that weight change. If I go back here again and pick zeroed weight, this is what the load cells are displaying as I've zeroed them. So this is, imagine I've taken a tank, set it on top of the load cells, coarse taired it, which we'll talk about, zeroed it. This is what the load cells are reading. And now as I start to add product, I can see the load cells start to react. Now, what's neat about this system is this can tell me if I have what's called a soft foot. Take a look. I'm pulling up on load cell 0 now. See how the weight goes negative? That's telling you that there's something pulling up on that leg, and probably you have something in your mechanical installation that you should look at. Can't do that with a strain gauge load cell system. It's a nice diagnostic. So again, this is fully available to your operators, and they can't change anything in this system when they're looking at this, but it can help you to diagnose an issue if you have it. All right? And by the way, as you'll notice, in this case, load cells in position 3 through 7 read 0080, which is a number that tells me nothing is hooked up to those particular channels. All right? So that's, I hope that's helpful, and that'll give you kind of a view of what your operators are able to see on the system. We'll come back next time, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual mechanics of system setup and how to coarse tear and calibrate. So until next time, thanks again, and we're with Acuity Process Solutions. If you have questions, you can reach us at area code 508-809-5099. And I didn't forget my phone number this time. Thanks.